Natalie Urquhart.
Hello.
Wowzers, our first podcast together.
Very exciting.
This is going to be cool. 25 years of working together. Absolute bliss. Never a drama.
Never.
Nah. And that's what we're here to talk about today, aren't we? We're talking about, the very unusual complexity of husband and wife teams. So it's on one hand a formidable force, and on the other hand, it can be a treacherous course.
Good way to put it.
Yeah. Yeah, and it is true, isn't it? You know, Natty, we've had an amazing life, amazing working life together, worked together for at least 20 years.
Yeah.
Probably now, 17 years really intensely in the GJ years and now in 1,000 feet deep. And it's been the highest of highs and the lowest of lows at times, hasn't it?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, no, it really, really has been. Yeah, we probably never started with the intention to actually even get into business together, but, you know, you naturally fall into that when you've got a tradie as your husband.
Yep.
You end up doing the bookwork and then, you know, administration and then, and then it just evolves from there. And so you naturally, marriage, you know, that partnership comes into a business partnership.
Yeah, it does. And that's the problem. It evolves.
It evolves.
So rather than us being deliberate and planned, we just let things happen naturally and evolve. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. The pressures, the blessings, the good things, but also the pressures of being a husband and wife team. And the tools that we picked up along the way to start to get some some structure, some order, some peace, some joy into not only our working life, but therefore our marriage, because it puts a lot of pressure on your marriage too, doesn't it?
Oh, it definitely does, yeah. I suppose so. Today, I think, you know, we wanted to just touch on, you know, there's so many tensions, of course, as a husband and wife team in business, but we wanted to touch on probably two, and that is the formative years when we first started, as well as our styles, our working styles. Yeah. And so I think those two for us, recognising the formative years season in our world, marriage and business, and then understanding each other, you know, took the personal aspect out of it and actually helped us get through some tough times in a sense.
Professionally. So understanding each other's working nature and the way we work, the way we tick.
That's it.
Yeah, it was really important. Yeah, very good. All right, a little bit of background on us, Natty. So we been married, 28 years.
Yep.
We're here doing a podcast, not because we've got it all together at all, not because we're perfect, probably because we failed in so many areas, but we're still here around working together, the tensions of working together, what that does to you professionally, what that does to you personally. And we're just happy, we're blessed enough to have actually rubbed shoulders with a lot of husband and wife teams, and we know that it's not just us. We know that it's very hard to work when you're a husband and wife team. And we're going to talk about why it's hard and then what are some of the tools that we've picked up along the way, like you said, to be able to help people through that process. So let's talk about the formative years. When we talk about formative years, we mean those early stages of, so whether it's childhood, friendship, relationship, marriage, business, when you get the formative years wrong, Natto, it puts a lot of pressure on you.
It certainly does.
And we were good at a couple of things. Buggering up the formative years, we've had quite a bit of practice of that.
We have, yeah, definitely. And so I suppose, you know, where it all started, we got together quite young. And so those formative years were quite tough personally. And so we had 3 kids. By the time I was 21, you were 23, which is pretty crazy.
It's moving.
And, it is moving. About 2001 when we were having our 3rd child, you were doing your builder's license. So that was he was 12 months old at the time, Jake. And that's probably where, you know, those formative years started. And then and then it led us into the business together. And so, 3 boys. We, from the Newcastle area, moved up to Tamworth in 2007.
Yep.
And 3 years in that you were working for a company, building company, GJ Gardner, as their supervisor. And then we had the opportunity to purchase the business. And so, for myself, that was off the back of raising children, not working, part-time work, and not being full on in the construction industry. So it was a massive decision. The boys were still relatively young at the time. Can't remember exactly the ages, 14, 11, 10. But a good age that we, I was ready to sink my teeth into something. You were ready to take on something of your own. And but it was still a big step all the same. Well, it's more like jumping into the fire, isn't it? Rather than just sinking your teeth into something when you start business. Absolutely.
And so you had helped me through, getting my builder's license. You helped me through the whole, typing that. At the time, I had never even touched a typewriter. You'd helped to do all the books when I was a carpenter. So we'd work together.
Yes, we had.
But it wasn't until we got into GJ's that we realised, wow, this isn't working. Like this shouldn't be so hard. So, you again, being that you're a house mum before that, like here's one of the pressures. You hadn't worked in the industry before, at least at this level.
No.
And so you're getting into roles that you're, ill-equipped for. You're not got your head around it. You obviously don't need long to master things. But those formative years were tough because we didn't know how to work together at that stage necessarily. You've got as much responsibility as I have, just in different areas.
Yes.
But authority, who sits where, who does what, all that kind of stuff wasn't clear. The way we communicate wasn't clear. We're going to talk about some other stuff that wasn't clear, like our personality type, the way we made decisions, the way we work. Really want to speak to that. Just nearly everything. Now, part of that too is husband and wife are so different just to start with. Male and females, no matter which way you look at it, there's no good or bad. There's no right or wrong, just different. And that in itself is hard enough.
Definitely.
And then you throw into the mix the pressure, the stress, inside of work, outside of work, you name it. We've got it all going on. And it just wasn't working in those formative years.
No.
So what did that feel like for you? What did that look like?
Yeah, so I think looking back, we went into business with high hopes, lots of excitement, but we weren't deliberate by any means. We literally just got thrown, when I say in the deep end, we took on an existing business so that had, so many jobs on the ground at the time. We had 20 contracts in the pipeline ready to build, and then that first year for us we end up building like 38, 40 homes in that first year. And so we jumped in with no time to plan, I suppose, and be deliberate about what then ended up being all the tensions that we actually carried and did formative years wrong, in a sense. And so communication, how we're going to communicate with each other, what role you held vice versa what role I held, all of that sort of stuff, how you gel with the existing team, and then,
how you deal with stress.
How you deal with stress.
And it's so hard to plan because you don't know what you don't know.
No.
So that's what today's about. We want to help people be able to get those formative years right.
Yes.
And even if you've been in business together as a husband and wife for 5, 10, 15 years, it doesn't necessarily need to be the formative years. There is a way forward.
Yeah.
Now, we haven't mastered this by any means, but I can tell you there's some things that have really saved us as we moved through all that tension. You want to talk at home about what's happened during the day. It's the absolute last thing I want. No right or wrong, but you need to download. Downloading to me seems like more pressure, more stress. I've got to solve what it is you're talking to me about.
Well, so you thought.
So I thought, and so I go into, let's talk about one mindset tool right now that can help people. So, male, female, generally speaking, not absolutes. So for anybody out there who's not like that, this is fine. But Natty and I certainly were. Head and hand. Heart, sorry. Head are more like what a guy would be like. It's like, if you are giving me problems, you want me to solve them.
Logical.
If you're giving me problems, if you're talking about problems, you're blaming me. If you are talking about problems, you are saying that it's my problem to solve. Whereas a female is more likely, or at least the way I understand it, to be heart, which is just want to talk about it. And
just
you know,
to be heard, just to be understood.
Well, that does a bloke's head in, because it's like, well, why are we talking about it if we're not going to solve it?
Yeah.
And why are we solving this at 8 o'clock at night?
Yeah.
Talk about that.
Yeah, I think that was a lot of it. And that comes down to a lot of our behavioural styles as well, which we'll get into. But for me, I just needed to debrief. I didn't really have anyone outside of you to be able to just download my thoughts, really, and what I'd dealt with through the day. And some of that might have been, you know, around the role that I held. Others might have been tension as I was in a working environment that I hadn't actually been in before, and then others was due to the leadership role that we both held. And some of the time, some of it was, you might have said something the wrong way that day, and then we come home and it's all meant to be rosy, and I'm like, how can we move on when we haven't actually dealt with this? And so sometimes it was just really to be heard.
So I've moved on. It's like, what fight? What argument?
Yeah,
and
exactly.
You needed to go, no, wait a second, we haven't addressed that yet.
I think over time, though, because you were so logical and wanted to solve, you actually took on a pressure. If I was not right, you took that on yourself too, because you couldn't solve it, you know? Yeah,
well, I actually felt bad that you were under pressure. I felt like it was my responsibility to lighten your load. And in business, you can't. Everyone needs to carry the weight. And I probably didn't want that for you.
Yeah.
But intention, let's talk about this for a second. I feel like this is really important. Let's 3 categories: tension, intention, way forward. So we've got the tension,
yes,
the issues, the problems, all the stuff. What gets confused a lot, that's not necessarily confusing, that's sometimes obvious. What's not clear is the intention.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
So your intention was to debrief. It's like, and why is this a tool? Because men try to solve, women just want to speak. Well, there's confusion straight away, because we don't understand that. Now, there'll be some women that are like men and some men that are like women. It's not black and white. It's a style. But the reality is this, is that my intention was never to block you or to not listen to you, but I just didn't understand that you needed to download, because I don't need necessarily to talk about things to deal with them. I just deal with them. But that's a real issue, eh? Yeah. That was one of the biggest things that we dealt with in the beginning.
It really was, yeah.
And so the intention wasn't there to hurt each other or block each other, but it was happening.
Yeah. And I think over the years we've understood that and learnt that through these different tools that we're implementing, and looking back, and the way we deal with things now is just totally different. Yeah. But I feel like, so we actually look into the intention now of what's been said, our actions, all of that sort of stuff, rather than just filling a gap and assuming that's what you meant, or, you know. But looking back on our formative years, once something's said or an action's done, goodness me, it's hard to sort of, you have to then heal from that.
Yeah.
As a husband and wife team, you know. The
trust is broken, potentially.
Yeah.
Winston Churchill gave a really good quote, and he said, to build is a slow and laborious task of years, and to destroy can be the thoughtless act of a single day.
It's so true.
And I feel like one of the mistakes that husband and wife teams make is that we are thoughtless.
Yeah, yeah.
Whereas we're not so thoughtless with people that aren't our husband and wife. Exactly. Or we work with our boys too. And so there's an expectation that your family will get over it and you can just download and whatever.
You want,
but it's not true, is it?
No, it's not true.
Not if you want a functional team, that is.
And we generally do give everyone else our best, and we cop the rest in a sense.
Yeah. All right. Well, so would you say tool 1, tension, okay? Understand the tension.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about the tension.
Yep.
But let's also talk about the intention. Hey, this is why I'm talking about this. I don't want you to solve. I don't need you to do anything for me.
Mm-hmm.
I just want 5 minutes of your time to talk. Now, even when you do that, I can tell you now, even speaking about it, I'm thinking, why do you want to talk about it if you don't want to solve it? But it's not all about me, is it?
No, exactly.
Unfortunately.
No,
it's not all about me. It's a very sad world that that's the case, but that's the case.
And, half the time I can't even remember, well, majority of it, what we spoke about. But what I do remember
is the feeling
of not being heard.
I'm good at not hearing. All right, so tension, intention, way forward.
Yes.
That's probably where we want to jump to.
Yes.
So it's like, okay, let's talk about the tension. I want to go straight to way forward.
Mm-hmm. Great.
But we need that middle bit, don't we? Sometimes you can't go to way forward. Sometimes it's just let's talk about it.
Yeah.
And that's hard for a guy. But that was actually, if you can get that one thing right, let's talk tool, that would help. Yeah.
Definitely would.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But there was a second tool, Nato, that we used, and it was an absolute game changer for us because we actually got to the position in our business where after 5 years we're looking to get out. And it was a lot of the stuff we talked about already, but there was more, wasn't there? Because we didn't understand each other's working styles. And so I thought you were blocking me. You thought I was pushing you, and when we use this next tool, which we stumbled upon, which I'll get you to introduce, it helped us see that it wasn't personal; it was professional.
Yeah.
It was part of our personality. Talk to everybody about disc profiling and what it did to help us bring clarity to the way we worked and what it did for us in our relationship, in our working relationship.
Yeah. So DISC is a behavioural profile.
Yep.
So it's your natural style and then how you actually act under pressure when pressure hits. And so you've got a quadrant, and basically, very simply, you're either fast-paced or slow-paced, task-focused or people-focused. So on the quadrant, the top right-hand corner is a D, so that's dominance.
Yep.
Bottom, they're fast-paced
Yep.
and task-focused. I's, bottom right, is fast-paced people and their influence.
Yep.
S, slow-pace people, they're steady.
Yes.
And then C's are compliance, and they are slow-pace and task-focused.
Yep.
And so D's are big picture, they're decisive, they know where they're heading,
Yep.
big visionary
They
people.
like a goal, goal-orientated, pushing forward.
Exactly. So they are pushing forward. They know what they want, they go after, and they just get it done. Where their development areas can be is that sometimes it comes across as railroading.
Yep.
And so I's are people-focused and fast-paced. So they're, nice, bright, bubbly, amazing. They bring the energy into the room. They're great with people, not so great at detail.
Okay, so that's their development area.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. S's, they're steady. So they're slow-paced, people-focused,
Yep.
great at systems, procedures. They're calm. But they hate hard convos. Sometimes they hate
Yep.
change and hard convos. So that's probably where, their development.
So they like stability. Don't mess with the
system process.
Yeah, they don't mess with what works.
Yeah, that's
so
right.
Change is hard for them.
Peace,
Yep.
calm. They like that. And then C's are compliance, and
Yep.
so they are slow paced, task focused. So they're very analytical.
Yeah.
Very detailed people.
So, Natalie, given that you're a C, tell everybody what a C's development area is.
Mine is procrastination and not having to have things right before moving on. So
the high need to have things right.
Absolutely, yeah. So for us,
yes,
as a married...
Let's talk about us. How did that affect our working relationship?
So because you're very big picture and visionary and fast-paced, you're moving forward, you're driving things forward, which is really, really great for business and company and team. Where it became a problem, well, a so-called problem in our relationship, was because I'm the total opposite. I'm detail. I'm like, how are we going to get there? These steps need to be in place before we actually move on to that. And while I was up to C, say ABC, 3 steps that you've given us, you're up to, F. You're moved on. You're like, that's done. And so it just brought a bit of tension in our working life because you were like wanting to move forward all the time and you felt like I was holding you back.
Yeah, and the reason we're talking about this, Natty, is because we thought, let me start with me, I thought that you were blocking me.
Yes.
And I thought that this was personal, that, why does Nat always stop me from being able to do what I want? Why can't we just move forward? Why do we, need to do it X, Y, and Z? Why can't, whatever it looked like? But for you and your side, you thought that I was pushing.
Yes.
You thought that I was rushing. You thought that I was whatever. And here's, I think, where it helped us is that it was never personal.
No.
It was professional. It was personality.
It was working style, yeah.
It was our working style. Like, I haven't, like, just this, I don't know what it is. It's like this, just this, what do you call it? It's just like a drive to move forward, to cut to the chase. Let's make sure we're moving forward on this. We're moving forward. And you have this innate need to make sure that if we move forward, we have all the ducks in a row, we have all the information we need, and that things are correct. Now, I feel like both have strengths and weaknesses.
Absolutely.
But we weren't working to our strengths and weaknesses. We just saw the effects of the different working ways in which we work.
Yes. Yep.
And that was tough.
And that was tough because that showed up in communication as well. So that wasn't just in action, but in communication as well. And so I felt, again, that you're pushy, that I didn't have a voice, felt unheard. And, you just, wanted to move on. You just wanted to, move past, solve the issue. You're a problem solver. That was your role, in the building industry. And so, that's...
And you were a problem preventer.
Yes.
Yeah. So what should be a beautiful relationship, a beautiful partnership, and it is, when you understand, actually was a point of confusion and a point of clashing.
Yes.
And that's why it's important that we talk about it, isn't it? Because when we understood that what our professional working styles were, it freed us to go, oh, wow. Okay, I can see how that's a benefit and I can see why Nat needs that now. And so I can understand that and give you the room you need and work with you.
That's right.
Now, maybe some people get that innately, but we didn't.
No, that's right.
And so for those who don't,
that's right.
Yeah, that's a good point. We found out the hard way.
Yeah. There was times that we got to in our business journey where I contemplated, we talked about when do I need to leave the business in order to save our marriage.
Yeah.
It was tough.
It was.
And there are other times where we could not even have a conversation without having an argument because we had different points of view or our styles just were not connecting.
Yeah.
But then there was so many beautiful times that we complemented each other.
Yeah. It was just about not letting things evolve naturally, but being more deliberate, really, helped us in the end. Because when you say that, that it got to the point 5 years in where I want to sell the business, well, that wasn't because we were working together. That was because of all the other stress.
Yes.
And I'll let you speak to the, to how you felt about how it affected our marriage. But like, here's the thing that, and one of the reasons we want to talk about this today is because working together as a husband and wife is just hard because you work together, you live together, you no doubt carry that stress inside and outside of work. But work stress is only one of the things.
Yeah.
Then you've got to go home and deal with all of that stuff.
That's right. Be a mum, be a wife.
Yeah.
Be a husband.
Yeah.
That's it.
And so we really need to, we worked on a couple of things beyond that. We said, okay, look, we have to work a way out here. We don't want to risk our marriage for the sake of our business.
Yeah.
It would be great to do it to do both of them well, but we don't know how. These tools helped us to be able to do them better, didn't they?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think we, again, came in, we loved each other. That wasn't the issue. But we're both individual people, and you come in with, hopes, dreams, your individual self, and I came in with my hopes and dreams and individual self. And because we weren't deliberate and put time aside to actually be clear and set each other's expectations, I suppose, ground rules on communication, what happens if, all this sort of stuff, we were unprepared.
Yeah, we were just unprepared. Yeah. And DISC profile helped us in so many areas. Once we understood that, that helped us to be able to communicate better.
It did.
It helped us understand our working styles. So you've got male and female. There's a reason that there's a book out there called Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. We just don't understand each other emotionally a lot of the times. So we get a bit clear on that. We talked about a couple of things there. DISC profiling, that helps us understand our working style. Now, that's not a gender thing.
No.
That's just a working style. Now, why the DISC helped us holistically, not just in our own relationship, talk about how it helped us with our team.
Oh, it was amazing. It actually shows you what naturally invigorates you and what naturally drains you.
Yeah.
And so it helped us, we had the right people in the bus, but are they in the right positions in a sense, including us? So what you're good at and what invigorates you, what brings you energy, drains me. And so that was really great for us because we were able to define roles within the business that you were able to, I suppose, take responsibility for or work out of that actually brought you energy. And then, and I would compensate in those areas that drained you, administration, things like that. And so when we worked that out, I was able to move into a position in the business that I just thrived in. I loved doing, and prior to that, you wear so many hats as a business owner. But we learnt to hire for those things that actually drain us. And we do the things that actually invigorate us, because that's the major thing in business, is making sure that you're bringing the energy, in a sense, and hire for those areas that actually drain you.
And we started to work on what we now call position profiles, because using the DISC, we were able to go, okay, well, this role requires this type of person. And before that, we were putting fullbacks in halfback and fullbacks in front row and front rowers in fullback, and we just had the whole team just sit anyone anywhere. But we started to realise that, hey, wait a second, certain roles take a certain type of personality and working style. It really did help.
Was a game changer. We hired off it, and of course we learnt this probably 3/4 of the way through our business journey, and but once we did, that was it. That was us moving forward. So even in this business that we're in now, it's been a massive journey even to bring us to here, but I feel like you're in your rightful role because of DISC and myself as well.
Well, let's fast forward a little bit. So we were in GJ's for 12 years. We, after those 5 years of wanting to just get out the real grind, we started what we now call leadership team and culture development. What I realised after those 5 years of us being in the business is we were just winging it. We got into a business because it was my training. We were good at it. I'd done it before. I'd had experience in that particular business, let alone the industry. Come on, we're going to be able to take this business on. We'll be able to take it to the next level. This is going to be great. And then we realised, wow, this isn't about building.
No.
This is about building people.
Yes.
And for the first 5 years, I feel like we were building the business on our backs and workload, and we hadn't grown in our leadership. And we've got a saying now in hindsight, and it says, if a leader doesn't grow, what they lead will shrink. And I wasn't growing in the areas that I need to grow in. Leadership, team, culture development, mindset. I was a worker mentality in a leadership position, which meant that I tried to move forward and move things forward through workload, and that just doesn't work. Not when you've got a big team. And so we started to pull some stuff together and get some clarity around not only how you and I worked, but what we needed from the team, what we expected from a team. Because what we started to see was no coach puts a team together to still do most of the work, put out every fire and solve every problem.
Yeah.
And yet this is a reality for most business leaders.
It was a reality for us.
Yeah, and we hadn't actually created a formidable team.
Yeah.
We just were working in a business.
Yes.
Yeah. And when we started doing that, Natty, every metric of business after that 5-year point started to reverse. So this is, I'd say, was the first 5 years. The first 5 years were, we come on with all the expectations and hopes in the world, just like anybody would who sinks nearly $1 million into something.
Yeah.
And yet every indicator was a decline for the first 5 years. Even us emotionally and the way we related to each other, which was just horrible. And then the next 5 years was a steady incline out of that due to us getting clear on some of the stuff that we're talking about today personally and how we started to build our team.
Yeah.
We started to put a foundation under our organisation that could carry the weight of success. A foundation that wasn't the backs of Nat and Dan. And it made a massive difference, didn't it?
Oh, it certainly did, yeah. So that change was huge for us. We started, to invest in the people.
Yeah.
And I loved the mission that you actually came up for yourself, that you actually had to change your mindset, where you said, I'm no longer a builder that builds homes, I build people that build homes. And so that was really a great and pivotal time in our business, and and so from there it was like building people, which actually it was such a passion of course yours, because you love people, but mine as well, because part of it, when we took on the business, that was one of the things that I had very clear in my mind, that we were managers of this business for a season of time. Yeah. Because it wasn't like it was Urquhart Family Homes or anything like that. And part of that clear purpose for me was to create opportunity for people. Yeah. It was always about people and others. And so after getting over those teething issues and that 5 years of tension, it wasn't perfect after that, but we started building into others, which was really, really great.
It's a really good point you make, because if you make your business about people, you'll build a good business. Yeah. If you make it about others and developing others. We used to have a saying, didn't we, that was like, you take yourself with you wherever you go. We used to have Thrive meetings every week, and we do that now for 1,000 feet deep. We're going to talk about 1,000 feet deep in a minute, but and the idea is that we build into the person. Yeah. Hand, head, heart, skill set, mindset, and character. Every single week, us as leaders are going to develop you and build you as a leader, skill set, mindset, and character. Yeah. And that and a number of other things. Here's one idea that was yours. Team development days, annual team development days. That was a massive game changer. Talk about that for a little bit.
Yeah, no, it was really, really great. So it had been on my heart for quite some time, but it was like, are these people going to buy in? We hadn't done any development within our team. Yes. And of course, even us getting on board and on the same page of which direction do we go and do we even hold this? Like, what's the purpose for, And
it's a big commitment.
It's a massive commitment.
Investment, isn't it? That's
right. So we did it. We the first one that we held was really amazing. We took them off site and held a seminar off site. And then we did a team challenge on that day, and literally it was just a car rally, and every answer of that car rally you could find by searching it on the internet. Like, it was super simple, but the goal for that day was, are these guys going to buy in? And they did, and it was amazing, and it was just the start of many, many years of doing development days and being able to sew into people. Yeah.
And it was a game changer that day. I remember being really emotional on that first day. It nearly makes me emotional now anytime I talk about it, because I remember being broken in the first 5 years of business. Having a desire, like every business owner and leader does, to go to the next level, to be able to achieve all their goals, and yet you're constantly dealing with struggles that just break you eventually, potentially. Yeah. And we started to see the light at the end of the tunnel. But again, it didn't happen, did it? No, things don't change unless things change. No. And so we needed to work on our communication. We needed to work on developing people. We needed to work on system and process, get clear on role and responsibility. It's the one thing that we talk about a lot now in 1,000 Feet Deep is that we need to see our teams like a sporting coach sees theirs. It's like we need to understand who's in what position. Can they do their role? Where's their strengths and weaknesses? Have they got the support they need? Have they got the training and development they need? Are we holding them accountable for the responsibility of the role? A lot of times as leaders, we carry people's loads for them, but no coach runs down out of the stands and starts tackling people and taking hit-ups.
No.
And yet in business, we feel like that's what a good leader does. Well, actually, a good leader doesn't do that. A good leader builds their team members for game day.
That's right.
And then tries to get them up for game day every day. And that's not easy. Actually, it takes a lot of time and emotional energy. Yeah.
And then you add that into a partnership of husband-wife team.
Yeah.
And then it brings a tension that they're carrying that potentially, you know what I mean? Because you've got not just the pressure of each other, you've actually got the pressure of a whole entire team.
Yeah.
And so everything that we learnt from 5 years onwards and that we started to implement was just in all fronts of the business. It wasn't just marriage, it was relationship within team, like every single team member.
Yep.
Setting up process and communication ground rules for all of that.
Yes,
everything that we were trying to learn and develop within our marriage, in business, we were doing that within team.
Yeah, and it made a big difference.
Yeah.
And that brought us to a point where we sold GJ's after owning it for around 12 years, a bit over 12 years. Had an amazing time. Look, we talk about the hardship, but it really was a great season.
So much
very,
fun.
very fruitful. We like I said, after that 5 years, it wasn't like everything became awesome afterwards, but we started to see results.
Yeah.
And we started to get a breakthrough, and every metric of business started to turn around in the positive. We still made mistakes. We weren't perfect. As husband and wife, we weren't perfect. As leaders, as bosses, and our team wasn't perfect, but they were an amazing team. We started to see some fruit, like staff turnover dropped right off. Customer satisfaction rates consistently over 95%. We had cash flow, profits, you name it, every metric. We started winning awards. The team started winning awards. What did we win? 4 International Franchise of the Year awards in a row now. This isn't a boast. What we're saying is what we got so wrong in the beginning, we were able to start to build an understanding of what is foundational for a business. And now that's what we do with 1,000 Feet Deep. We sold GJ's to get into an environment and create a business where we could help other people put a foundation in their organisation to be able to carry the weight of success. 1,000 Feet Deep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's funny because 2016, so, the first 5 years of our business, 2010 to 2015, the formative years, we did not do well. And from 2016 onwards, we're trying to heal and build our relationship from that. But 2016 really, from when we started to developing our team, changing our mindset and developing our team, is where 1,000 Feet Deep was birthed.
Yeah.
But even in the rest of the time that we had in business together in the building company, and then looking into our next season of 1,000 Feet Deep, I didn't want to be a part of it. I was like, I just want to enjoy this next season as husband and wife without the pressure of business, because it is tough and we get it, for everybody that's married and in business together. It's not the easiest thing to do by any means. And so I was, I would say, fearful and mindful of not wanting to repeat that or continue that. I wanted to take the pressure off, And so, but the journey's been so tough but so beautiful in actually bringing me into 1,000 Feet Deep as well.
Well, Nato, can I be honest? You are, like we are a formidable team. We just hadn't worked out all of the stuff that makes you formidable. So potential is great, intention is great, desire is great, but unless you have a strategy, unless you have a game plan, often potential stays on the field. You know, what we want to do is we want to meet that potential.
Yeah.
And so, Nato, you know, like, we got it so wrong, didn't we?
We did.
And yet there's so much potential out there with husband and wife teams. And that's what we're talking about today. It's like, it can be so good when you get these little elements right.
Yeah.
And it can be so damaging when you don't.
Yeah,
but it's also the same with teams. With just being a leader and how a leader leads their teams, it can be, there's so much potential. Like, for instance, you know, great teams and leaders don't have more time. They just manage it better.
Yep.
And life doesn't roll out the red carpet for anybody. And so if we've got a really clear strategy and game plan, we can actually go from good to great or break down to breakthrough.
Yeah.
And that's what we want to try to help people with. And now us working together again is actually, it's a real joy because one of the things is that I don't try to carry your load and feel guilty now that you want to work in an area and want to carry load because actually, Natty, you're looking after the business strategy of 1,000 Feet Deep. And what I do now is kind of away from everyday business and it's more in coaching, communication, content. But you are actually heading up the business side.
The operations.
Yeah. And it's a perfect fit. Let's talk about that. I mean, that you didn't want to do that, and yet here you are.
No, that's it. Well, I suppose, you know, as you said, husband and wife teams, they've got something that others don't, and you just know each other inside out. You know your strengths, you know your weaknesses, you know where you complement each other. And I have walked this journey with you, you know, and so I know your heart and passion for 1,000 Feet Deep and to help other business owners in their journey. And so, I suppose we talk about, you know, well, your core purpose for one, but even the way you're wired, you are innovator, you are a visionary. You know, and I can actually help you bring that vision to life, you know. And so when we find who we are and how we're wired and what brings us energy, well, then it's you know, it's a very complementary thing. Yeah.
Well, let's talk about that. You mentioned core purpose. This might be another tool that we can talk about. So core purpose, we understand core purpose to the 2 or 3 things that you do that only you can do. And then we talk about what are the elements that can help you better manage your time and emotional energy.
Yep.
And part of it, you talked about it before, is working in areas that don't drain you. You know, as a team member, if you're a fullback, you're in a fullback position.
Yes.
If you're a front rower, you're in the front row. You now are working. What's your core purpose in 1,000 Feet Deep now? And talk to people about core purpose a little bit. Why is it important for husband and wife teams and teams in general to know what it is that they do that only they can do?
So there's so many tasks, responsibilities within your role that you do every week. And you can get caught up into the nice to haves and the want to haves because it's fluffy and it's lovely and it's nice. But it actually is not the thing that you need to focus on to actually move the needle.
Yeah.
And so my gifting is, you know, strategy, taking a concept and actually making a practical outworking of that. And so for me, my core purpose here is structure and strategy. Yeah. Yeah. And then operations, making that happen in a sense. And so, you know, we go through a 6-step process of determining, you know, what are the tasks, laying out all the tasks that you do in a week. Yep. You know, the time that's taken up by other people, you know, if you're in leadership or even just emails and external people requiring things off you, you know. 3 is like, you know, investing time that you invest, but then getting to a point to go, okay, well, you're probably over your time limit here. What do we need to do to reduce that time? And then the 3 top things to focus on. That's right. So we show it like a pie graph, don't we? Yeah. We say, okay, look, you work 40 hours, 50 hours, 60 hours. It doesn't matter. Because a worker mentality will always have more to do than time to do it. And so you can work more hours if you want. The problem's not hours. The problem is where you are spending your time during that week. Yeah.
And so you've just said those 6 steps help you work out where you're spending those hours, who's spending those hours for you, because that's a big part of being a leader, where you can better delegate, and then making sure that that shows up every single week, working week. Yeah. And then core purpose is important because you can cut to the chase of what it is that you do that only you can do. You know, so we sort of say it this way, don't we? While you're doing things that other people can do, you're not getting to the things that only you can do. And that's a killer for business, isn't it?
It really is.
And it drains us. You mentioned that a couple of times.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. So yeah, I felt like in the initial stages, and you do when you actually start up a business, you're wearing multiple hats, and it's like you've got to do, you know, multiple things when you're in that startup phase before you can, you know, employ somebody or bring somebody on team. And so, but you were concentrating on a lot of the operations stuff, which took you away from what you should be doing, you know. And so for me to come into the business in this function, I was able to actually release you to do what only you can do. Yeah,
it's super interesting. So what are some other tools, Natty, that we've utilised over the years? I know one of them, too, just to help us personally, was love languages.
Yeah.
That was a big one too, because again, we're just trying to get clarity on, you know, what's not right. Why is this not feel right? I found love languages to be super interesting because it's, you'll explain it, but it's a real point of confusion. Talk about love languages.
Yeah, so you've probably heard of 5 love languages. So acts of service, quality time, physical touch, words of affirmation, and gifts.
Yes.
Yeah. You tend to give love the way you want it to receive love.
Yep.
And so for myself, mine is acts of service. And so I give you acts of service. I try and make you know, even a working environment. You know, I do things for you. I structure things. I try and organise your calendar. And even though yes, it's role and it's a task, it's actually an act because I'm showing my love for you. And then personally at home and things like that as well. And so that's how I express love, because that's what my love language actually is.
That's right.
But that doesn't resonate with you. You are physical touch and words of affirmation. And so for you actually give me words of affirmation every day.
Yeah. But it's like, yeah, whatever, bro.
It's not whatever, bro.
Yeah, but you know what it is? It's like, and this is why I'm talking about it, because it is confusing, because you give love and support, like you said, the way you would like love and support. And so I give something to you thinking, oh, this would be great for Nat because I know I like it. And yet you're going, yeah, that's not really what I need.
It's actually so funny though, because it tends to be what we struggle in the most. Like for me to come up with, I know it sounds simple, to actually share words to affirm you.
Encourage, support that way.
I actually struggle with, what am I going to say? Or how do I write this? Or, you know.
That's why it's so important to talk about though, Natto, isn't it? Because again, it can seem like there's an element of lack of love and support, but it's just a confusion around how to give love and support. And so I'm going to love and support you the way I want to be loved and supported, and yet that doesn't ring your bell.
No.
Now, this, I just want to say to everybody, this is a concept that exists within marriages. And there's a book out there that you can read that's called The 5 Love Languages that'll help you understand how your wife receives support and love and how husbands receive support and love. Now, here's the interesting thing. It's going to be different. And it's not based on gender. This particular one's not based on gender. But understanding the way your spouse feels love and support is very important to be able to give love and support the way they want it.
Yeah.
And yet, if we didn't know that, if we didn't have that tool, you're constantly blocked.
You are constantly blocked, and you have so many, you go through your day and you don't actually even realise, but you have so many unmet needs from each other.
That's right.
You know,
and then resentment sets in. And
that's right. And so for me, you would give me, we'd work all day, we'd go home and words of affirmation. I love you, I appreciate you, but I felt unheard at work, or I didn't feel like your actions married up to what you're now saying.
Yeah.
And so you did still love me. You did still appreciate everything that you said, you meant, but I didn't feel it, or I didn't feel heard.
That's right.
know? And so we've got to make sure that we're understanding. I understand the way you receive love. And even though that's not natural for me to give, I need to be able to work out a way.
Yeah. And we don't want to be fluffy here. When we say love, we mean genuine love, like feeling as though someone cares about you, but also support. So you would support in ways that you like to be supported, and yet not necessarily in the way that rings my bell. And so it's not like you were deliberately doing it. Remember, we talked before about tension. What's the tension, and what's the intention, and what's the way forward? Well, this is a really good tool, because what we're trying to help people with is, like husband and wife teams can be formidable. It's the most, as far as potential goes, it's probably, it's up there with one of the greatest ways to be able to do business. And yet, as far as outworking of it, it can be fraught with danger. And it was fraught with danger for us, and still is to a degree. We're not perfect by any means. Until we started understanding some of these things we've talked about today that helped us unlock some blockages. But these blockages are universal.
Yeah.
And it's like business for me.
Yeah.
Why we got into 1,000 Feet Deep was because we feel like that we could solve some solvable issues. We could help people with things that were preventable, and build a foundation that you can, again, carry the weight. But that doesn't happen by chance either. That happens through understanding certain tools, certain non-negotiables, certain things that you can start to influence and control that will help you every day of your working life. And so that's what we're trying to achieve, Natalie, with today's podcast. I'm not sure if we got there or not. But tell us, Nat, as we start to wrap, what were some of the greatest breakthroughs that you felt, and of our time working together? What kept you coming back from all this? Like, as bad as and hard as it is, this was really something that was a real achievement for us.
Well, I think the biggest thing is that right from day one, I was just as invested as you.
Yeah.
And it became a passion of mine. It became who we were. It's like, if you're entrusted with something, you want to give it your best. And as long as my name was on there, it was like, I'm turning up every day and I'm giving it my best, And so for that, it's like a victory. When we started having those little wins, that was so encouraging.
Yep.
It was really encouraging. It was so encouraging to start to be recognised for that as well in amongst our team. And building that stabilising our team and starting to win awards and things like that. It was more the encouragement of it than anything, more than the accolades, So that was great. We had so many fun times. I loved what we did, loved handing over homes to beautiful clients. That's their dream,
That's right.
So we had that picture in mind, and so it was beautiful, with our trades, our suppliers, all those connections and networks. Our team was the biggest thing. I remember one of our mates, as we were leaving to go to a franchise meeting, AGM, and we're on a plane, and I'm like, if we die, if we don't come back, take care of our boys and take care of our team.
Yeah.
It was like, and take care of our clients, And so it becomes, it's who you are, And so that was, I loved that, the passion of what we did.
Yeah, that's so good. And mine would be similar, I think. It's being able to achieve all we set out to achieve, but not on our own. It's because it's not about us, is it? It's about, like you say, we're building homes for other people. And to be able to work alongside people and thoroughly enjoy doing it. Yeah. And start to be able to achieve and get some consistency. it's something special, isn't it? Yeah, and being able to do it, you know, with my family, we work with our boys too, and so that's been a joy as well. But again, it's fraught with danger. So you don't want it just to evolve. You want to be deliberate.
No, that's right.
You know, and I know you've already been. Our two boys now started up their own construction company, silly buggers, and
not at all.
And I remember you saying to them, you've got to be careful. Formative years. How are you going to communicate? You know, because, again, there's a process, isn't there?
Right, there
Follow
is.
the process and you'll get the reward. If you don't, it's going to be a daily flogging.
That's it. Yeah, so I think that's our heart is for people, partners and married. So, you know, our two boys in business together, or whether it be that you're married in business, and it's just like, you know, you can do it so well, but you can do it so poorly as well. And it's not that you have the wrong intent. That's not what it is at all. It's just being deliberate about everything that we've been talking about.
Yeah, it's just not letting things evolve.
Exactly.
You know, one of the things too, one of the big takeaways for us was, every day as a business owner and leader, you are draining the bank account.
That's right.
And the question is, how do you fill it up? Yeah. And so that's a big one too, isn't it? You know, for me, it was, I had to start reading books, I had to start educating myself, feeding myself. When I did, I had something to lead out of. Prior to that, you just ran dry.
That's it.
Yeah.
We didn't celebrate the victories well. You know, they got a point to our business journey where we couldn't make decisions. We had to take the pressure off. We didn't know how to take the pressure off, but we had to take the pressure off. And literally it was as simple as be kind, have fun, you know.
That was our mantra, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. And so that's what we carried in for the rest of the time. Be kind, have fun.
And so that was our mantra at home, wasn't it?
It was.
Be kind, have fun. Because we weren't being kind to one another at certain stages and we weren't having any fun.
Nope.
It was a nightmare.
Yeah.
But now we're more deliberate. We're not perfect by any means. That's not why we're talking about this today. But if we can help anybody just with those couple of tools, that's a win, I think. Because definitely. I feel like everything that we went through is preventable. You know, there's still going to be pressure. There's still going to be tension. There's still going to be issues. There is no silver bullet. But wow, you can make it a lot easier. And so I hope it's helped today. Now, Natty, we're going to close. What would you say to a young Natalie just about to get into business for the first time? And what advice would you give our listeners just as we close?
All right. So if I can speak to both a husband and a wife.
Yeah, good.
I would say that getting into business for the first time, you are actually bringing both your individual self and your hopes and dreams and desires, but you're also bringing in your areas that you need to develop, and then somehow you need to come together. So start early, right from the word go, by setting expectations together. What does communication look like? What do our roles look like? You know, and getting all that set beforehand, because the pressure will come. And you don't want to just, you know, find out the hard way. You know, it's harder to then go back and heal or have those conversations once things are said. Yeah. And so be confident in who you are, you know, the what your giftings are that you bring to the actual business. Yep. And but the biggest thing would be communication, setting those expectations early. Yeah. Yeah, well, I think mine would be similar to yours. It's role, because it can be very hard for those out there who listen to Natty now and go, well, where do I fit? You might not know where you fit, but you fit somewhere. You fit somewhere. We work with people on helping them fit within their own organisations. I think you mentioned it before. We can work in areas that drain us. So there's the first hint. If you're working in an area that drains you, not just general pressure. General pressure is actually not our issue. It's working in an area that we're not good at and it just drains our energy. It's like, you know, the battery in your phone, that you do certain things on your phone, it just drains it real quick. We can handle pressure when we're working in areas that we enjoy working in. Now, like you said, formative years, you got to do everything. But as quickly as you can, work out what you're good at, what invigorates you, and make that part of your role. And especially when you work as husband and wives, and then we're not meant to be good at everything, hey, Nata? So as quickly as we can, based on cash flow, employ people to do those things within your business that you're not actually good at. Yes. And that drain you, because that's what team's for. Don't build a business on your own back. Lay a foundation
of leadership, team and culture that can help you carry the weight of success, because even success has weight. It's heavy to carry. And so, hey, Nat, this has been really cool. We're going to do more and more of this. You have a wealth of knowledge, and, you know, it's been an amazing journey. My apologies for all that stuff then and now. But it is a beautiful thing to work together, but it is hard. It's just the way it is.
Definitely
and
is.
so don't let it evolve. Make sure you deliberately forge your working relationship.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks, Nato.
Thank you.